gotta find something out from Mark here. So Mark's got a JD from Stanford and engineering degree from MIT. What, or you write your own bios and you're creative. You know, it's Disney. What do your kids think that you do, or what does your family think that you do? Yeah. They're from Woody. Yeah. So this is true for me too. I work at Johnson & Johnson. As far as my family's concerned, I market Q-tips because it's far less interesting to say my dad works on an atypical, psychotic, long-acting injection for people living with severe mental illness. That doesn't go over well in the playground. And J&J does not make Q-tips, but that doesn't seem to bother anybody else. Okay, so we're covering a lot of stuff. And you're going to forget what everything I talk about. You're going to forget me. But I hope that you'll keep 3 things in mind when we start to think about online video, because I fear that when we say online video, it means different things for different people. But in general, it means pre-roll or viral. And what I'd like to propose is there's some really cool stuff that aren't about paid media and the viral prayer that is worthy of some attention and has some certain benefits as well as some downsides. So with that, 3 types of online video marketing. Paid, I think we've beaten that to death. It's pretty clear that that is important, and it's one of the fastest growing portions of a digital mix. Placed is a bit different, and we saw a good example of that bounty placement in the Muppet video is a good example of placed media. And then finally, the earned. And by earned, I would, and you know, there's a fuzzy gray area between these, but by earned, I'm speaking specifically of things that we create and that we hope that will spread. So it could be viral videos, it could be webisodes that we commission ourselves. So just a very quick view on the pros and cons. So paid, great, guaranteed. I know I'm going to get my eyeballs. On the downside, you know, when I put a word in red, I'm trying to coin a new word. And I will try at least 2 or 3 times, and none of them will stick, but I will keep trying. Ad immunity, you know, being sort of that glazed over look, you know, sort of the pre-rolls and post-rolls and mid-rolls, and certainly the display ads around. You know, but again, on the plus, it's easy to buy. You know, it is important. Look at the growth on it. And you can do some cool stuff with it. So you're going to do that anyway, so let me just give you 3 things to consider. First of all, make sure that you keep your costs down, and because you need a lot of media. You need a lot of these, otherwise you're going to fatigue the heck out of people. So, for example, I use PopTent. This is not a paid placement, but I use PopTent to create dozens and dozens of pieces of content that we can deploy so that we don't sort of hit the same people with the same message over and over and over again. And, you know, in some cases we find content that's so good that we want to repurpose, you know, for television or otherwise. And the entertainment value is very important because it's so easy to click through or ignore. So don't forget that. And then thirdly, it's tough, right? Get our media buyers together with our agencies of records and think creatively about the medium. Here's an example where you got a guy breaking through the video player to parcel out a product. So, you know, thinking really creative about how you use those units and how you deploy video in sort of less traditional paid ways. Now, placed, a little bit different. And this could include sponsored video, i.e. giving a predominant YouTuber who's got a built-in audience, give him product to work in or ask him to do a custom video for your brand. And I have a few examples of that in a second. And then it could be just straight up product placement as we've seen. So the most, you know, if it's not Wayne's World, it's these Cokes, right? We don't know what's inside of them. Probably scotch and opioids, but we see the Coke. We see that Coke logo. And I talked to the Coke media person, this is a while ago, and said, why don't you just do that? Like, do you really need the ads around that? And she said, yeah, but, well, Fox requires. So, okay, good for Fox, smart. Because that's pretty valuable, right? We would all agree. Because it's implied endorsement. It's an implied endorsement. What's today's version of that? Rhett and Link. These are 2 guys that have built an entire fan base and a television show on commercials. They did a television show on local commercials, and this stuff has popped. Chuck Testa, if anybody. And so the point there is that you can tap into people that already have audiences, asses in seats, work your brand into that message. And this isn't new. I mean, this has been around for 70 plus years since the dawn of television, even radio. Because an impression is an impression unless it makes one. You can tweet that. I'll give you a moment to tweet that at Nalts, right behind it. But it's a really important point because I think that we've talked about sort of, yeah, there's some scale issues with some of this. There's no question. It's a good complement. You know, on the food pyramid, you know, you're buying is sort of the bulk, you know, I don't know, the breads. What is it now? Breads, starches, meat. And then, you know, this stuff is a little bit somewhere in the fruits and vegetables zone. But the viral stuff is, you know, sugar and oil, like used very sparingly. So I would argue that Bounty's appearance in that Muppet spot is worth about 100 Bounty pre-rolls. And it'd be hard to argue against that, and I think there's some studies that are going to increasingly show that. So let's look at a few examples. I got about a minute and a half of examples that will give you a better sense of what I'm talking about in this second tier.
You can appear in the show like that. Check it out! Now you're on the map! And pretty soon, you'll be getting your friends inside the show to share in these new experiences.
I'm Shelly the shrimp and it's good to see you now. Meet my friends. There's Dippy the apple, and the brothers of cheese.
Hello, hello, hello.
Sam the salami.
How's it going?
Now eat us, please.
In my eyes, you've been nothing but classy. But everybody's saying you're nasty. Full of fungus, it can't be true. Laden with bacteria, no, not you.
All right, so hopefully you found those entertaining. The last one, Rhett and Link, who I've known for a while on YouTube, and it was funny how initially they were kind of afraid to get in the community because they're more perceived as commercial, but the community is very forgiving of that. You got to make your mortgage. Those guys just won a Webby with that one last year, and a few of the other ones that I just presented to you, award-winning. Social TV just won a recent award last week with OMA. But they're engaging, they're entertaining. I mean, the guy with the car door is Mr. Guitar Man. He wrote my initial theme song now. He's charging, you know, 50K plus for these custom videos, but from a brand perspective, I'm pretty guaranteed to get, you know, millions and millions of views because he's got that kind of embedded audience. So that helps a lot too. And I mean, these things, you know, have driven business. I for one, bought that last Rhett and Link song on iTunes and then replaced my pillow because the whole point of it is to make you really disgusted with your pillow so that you go get a new one. I left off the really, you know, racy parts. So finally, third and earned is probably, I got like literally 2 emails in the past week saying, can you make a viral video for me? I've made 1,000 videos on YouTube. This is like 250 million views, 250 million views on YouTube. I could never have told you the 3 that represent the vast majority of those views. Could never have told you. In hindsight, you know, a kitten and pranks, right? Those tend to, you know, get the most views. But the point is, play your bets, right? If you're going to, don't try to create one viral video and hope and sort of bet on that. If you're going to go into this space, keep your production costs down, create a lot of different stuff, and, you know, play the odds a little bit more. And then, you know, webisodes I'll probably leave out. But I just want, are you guys familiar with Coney 2012? Is that, I'm surprised with how few people actually, because a couple weeks ago this popped. It's a very interesting case study because it's cause marketing. We don't see cause marketing usually go viral to this degree. My kids showed it to me, it was like 9 million. The next day it was up to like 50. And, You know, last I checked, it was like 100 million. It was getting national news. You know you've hit it big time as a viral video creator when you're compelled to get naked and run on the streets in California. That's when you've had your moment. But I think, so here's another coin term, triral. You know, it's not a viral video until it becomes viral. So everything for that, until somebody comes up with a better term, let's go with triral. And it's not going to happen generally. So the Coney example, while in hindsight you can look at the 30 minutes and analyze it and see, okay, these were the attributes that made it highly sociable. This is why people shared it. It was a cause marketing campaign. More often than not, for each of these videos, maybe you recognize there are thousands of more that are trying this route. So I would play here, but again, sparingly. And I think there's just a lot of untapped areas. So Paul played some shows that are waiting for sponsors. There are YouTubers that have bigger audiences than most television shows. I mean, some of my friends now have more people viewing them a day than American Idol. Annoying Orange, who'd have thought? I'm the knife on Annoying Orange, so you can tell your friends and families that I'm the voice of the knife. That doesn't impress anybody. I could tell by your glances. Yeah. But let me try this one, Mark. It's the Muppet Show with our very special guest star, Mark Walker. Yay! I'm going for that voiceover thing. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for bringing the Muppets back, but Where's My Water? That thing killed my holidays. I spent no time with my kids because of Where's My Water? Nobody else? No, really? Come on. 14 million other people, they're just not in this room, apparently. All right, so I tried to move quickly to help us get back on time. Do we want to go right to the next speaker? Do you want to go to questions? Speaker. All right. Thank you for your time.